welcome to episode 520 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Glenn.
What? Yes.
And Jay died again.
Again. He died again. When was it like? He died for the members-sode on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was dead. He wasn't. Was he dead in an episode before that? No, it wasn't. He was dead for the post-Origin one on Wednesday, and he was dead for the Friday night one we did. Yeah, on the Patreon. Yeah, so to listeners of the regular show, he's perfectly fine. Last you heard, I think, was Tuesday night, and he was all good back then. But apparently, sometime between Wednesday sometime and Wednesday full time of Origin, he suffered from a crippling case of
New South Wales lost and Cleary's injured.
Well, you know how people used to just get sprained ankles and like high ankle sprains and shit like that. Now it's all syndesmosis and everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I mean, they used to call it like a virus or like a cold or the flu or whatever. Now it's got like the scientific name of can't front up to how shit these fucking Penrith players were in State of Origin, fraudulently playing and letting Queensland win the game because they suck dicks.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Views currently being expressed by Nathan and not shared by anyone else on this podcast.
You don't think the Penrith players suck? We've been through this on the Origin podcast. Of course they fucking sucked.
Yeah, I just don't know why you have to, we're just better than that. There is one of the three hosts, that likes to shit on people when they're not around.
Oh, so we're doing it. We're doing
it's
it Dairy
not you,
Queen,
and it's not me.
Right.
I'm
okay. Cool. Okay, so we're doing Dairy Queen then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
We're just better than that.
And then now Cleary's injured, so
we may never hear from him again.
He's never likely to front up to the deficiencies of the chin this year again in Origin.
Wow. Because
he's certainly not going to play again. And so, yeah. Whatever happens, this goes down as his, if Queensland win it, that's his fourth out of 5 series losses to Daly.
How good.
Yeah.
But for tonight, it's the OGs.
It is. OG again. See, the patrons have been getting a lot of the OG business.
Yes.
We've been OGing the fuck out of it on Patreon.
Haven't we?
But now it's OG on the main line. So
I will say that, some people have got chest infections and can't come off. Like, I'm borderline crippled over here. Got a fucking busted rib. I'm still here. Got a damaged calf. Fucking.
Well, isn't your shoulder that's fucked?
No, it was my rib. It was on my bad side, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
So, I thought you played touch football, though. How on earth could you get a busted rib?
Because my kid is a piece of shit.
Elaborate.
Well, we had a little bit of an opposed game, A grade versus everybody else, and I fall into the everybody else category, barely. And there's not many places for me on a touch field, but wing would be the only one, as we've discussed previously. Shout out to that.
The Val Meninga of Toowoomba grade touch.
Shout out to our mate that complained about the Toowoomba touch football content on the podcast. This is for you. Anyway, regulation, just drive and dump. And as I've run the ball up, Jackson's marking me and fucking just a little short, sharp, drop the shoulder as I've sort of half braced myself. And a little bit of a pop. Don't know. It's not a broken rib or anything, but fuck, it's sore. Anyway, too old for this shit.
And so, like, I asked you this off the air, but just for the benefit of people who aren't who don't know anything about touch, I would imagine dropping the shoulder into someone.
Yeah, look, it's not in the spirit of the game.
Yeah, is it? Obviously, it's not in the spirit of the game, but is it actually like actionable?
Yeah, that would be a penalty. Technically.
Okay, so did you get a penalty for this one?
No, everyone just laughed.
Yeah, Bush League, fucking park touch football. It's fucking ruthless out there
in the,
in the
kill or be killed. People are like, friendly fire, eh? I'm like, there's nothing friendly about that kid. He's the least friendly towards me of anyone here. There's nothing friendly about it.
You should have fucking body slammed him
I should have fucking put him up for adoption when I had the chance. Is what I should have done.
Only a couple of years now before you can put him on the streets.
Yeah, kick him out.
So we call the late trimester fucking adoption. Get out, motherfucker.
That's it.
All right. So that was this week in Toowoomba Touch.
Oh, did score a try on Saturday as well. Just saying.
Okay, talk me through. When's the last time I spoke to you? Friday. Okay, yeah. So it was okay.
So I had my C grade game and got a lovely outball. The opposing winger come across with his hand outstretched, and I've turned my body as I've run down the wing, and he's had a bit of a swipe at me, and he's missed, and I've fucking hightailed it, and managed to get to the corner and put the ball down, and old mate was like, no touch. So he good honesty. Proceeded to run back to the box and had my best mate / business partner go, mate, great try. I just feel like the turning of the body was unnecessary. I was like, why is that? He's like,
you want to secure the fact that you're not touched.
Yeah, true. But he's like, when you're the same thickness, either way, turning your body is, get this, he's like, it's like rotating, it's like rolling a barrel. It's the same width.
I tell you, I don't know what you do with yourself, because all these cunts, there's no one, no one's in your corner up there. It's you just get absolutely fucking roasted. Whether you do something good or bad, you're getting roasted.
Exactly.
Also.
I did have a bit of a moment. We had a social night for the Touch Club on Saturday night, and a few drinks were had, and a headache was had the fucking next day. I can tell you, I was drinking those Brookvale Union vodka lemon lime bitters. Well, no, they do a vodka lemon lime bitters.
Yep. Right.
So I was drinking those. I haven't had those before. They're only one standard drink, but I don't know if it was sugar or the fact that I'd exercised and then jammed a bunch of alcohol into me. Anyway,
the sugar's usually the killer on those mixes.
Cracker of a headache next day. But anyway, a few drinks, everyone's having a good time, and a few of the A-grade boys bust out a game of beer pong. And there's a couple of boys that'll get on quite well, several of them, but there's two that... one in particular talks a fair bit of shit towards me, and there's a bit of banter, and his mate as well. They were talking a bit of shit, but they're possibly the worst beer pong players you've ever seen. You're like fucking hopeless. The whole crowd, everyone's standing around watching, and we're just like, fucking, how bad are these guys? Like, get it in. Anyway, so they've got, I think it was 3 cups up the far end that these the two guys that engage in a bit of banter, and they couldn't hit a side of a barn with a shotgun, really. But I was probably 3 or 4 vodkas deep. I was giving them a little bit of lip and said, I'm glad this isn't get laid pong, because you guys are big fucking virgins. Anyway, so they're talking a bit of shit, and they're like, well, fucking, why don't you have a fucking go? So anyway, the big diesel steps up. It's like, righto. And because the shit talk had probably gone on for a good 10 minutes. Like, I was feeding it to these blokes.
Yeah.
And then finally, well, fuck you. Why don't you have a go? Okay, cool. So I stepped up, first throw, straight in the guts. And the fucking whole room erupted. There was high-fiving. I fucking flipped the bird to these poor fucking unsuspecting fucking 20-year-olds. I was high-fiving everyone. The C-grade chant started fucking in the room. So fuck these A-grade fucking big mouths. We showed him who was boss. It was a great moment.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
Good times.
I was fucking funny, I forgot to tell you. Had to get up at the crack of dawn on Sunday to go into the Queensland Con.
Yes.
For this thing that Killer was doing. Had to get up at 5 to take him in for 6:30 for like one last rehearsal before their performance at 8:30. and they had the way the concerts were staged, and there was like 2 ensembles in each concert, and each concert went for an hour, and so the other one of the other ensembles was first in his 1 hour bracket, and so we're at the concert, and the kids from this first ensemble start filing out onto the stage to take their positions, and there wasn't much room. Like, like orchestra seating, how they go into sort of horseshoes expanding out, and you got like, whatever the instrument, like, flutes usually in the first row closest to the conductor. Then you got like, like sort of clarinets out to one side and whatever. So this little kid's like, he looked pretty little. But he's walked out, and there was like a crush of people to the right of where the conductor's where their little podium was, and so the kids are waiting to file down into their things, and he's just figured, I'm just going to go around the back and get to like the second row or the third row where he was supposed to be sitting, in his position, and also fucking bam, look, cunt's just falling off the front of the stage.
Oh wow.
He didn't seem to be hurt. Like, the people in the front row sort of helped him climb back up, and he sort of went and took his spot. He seemed to be unhindered.
Oh, he'll never recover from that.
Oh, but my God, it was,
He'll remember that till his fucking grave.
Yeah,
that's not the shit you forget.
No, it's it was pretty once it was clear that he wasn't injured, it's pretty embarrassing.
Very.
I felt embarrassed for him.
Look, saving grace, wasn't your kid. So you did.
Yeah, no, my kid, he had no such issues, and being percussion as well, he was at the very back. But there was one bit I could tell in between the first song he was doing, he was on something like the snare drum or something like that, and then with the orchestral percussion, there's a dozen things they could be doing, and they sort of rotate them in different things in different songs, and then between the first and the second song, I've seen him walk all the way over to one side, and he's looking down around the ground, and he walks all the way over to the other side at the back, and he's looking for something. And he was, I can't remember what he was looking for, but he was just like, he fucking gave it to this fucking chick up the back, because whatever you were doing in the second song is what she was doing in the first one, and she'd fucking put bits of it here and bits of it there.
Oh, right.
and he's just like straight up pro, and he's just like everything is like in its place, and so I could see him fucking roast. I actually asked him afterwards. I said, what happened between the first 2 songs? He goes, well, let me. But yeah, it was
consummate professional.
Yeah, it was very like that. Like I'd make a reference to a movie right now that you haven't seen. It'd better be lost on you. But yeah, I was just gonna say he's like the conductor / teacher in Whiplash. So people in the percussion space will know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, good times.
In the movie space. And you can watch it on the weekend, Glennie, while you're relaxing with your fucking fractured ribs.
No. Probably going to have to front up.
Yeah, so with this, so this is the thing. You got a fork in the road now. There's the 2 options. Obviously, you don't feel great. You can breathe, so you haven't got a break or anything like that. Mm. But you got 2 options there. I mean, you don't necessarily need your ribs to play touch football either, but except when cunts are treating it like Mugby, then
true.
Yeah, you can do further injury, but you got a fork in the road here, so you can withdraw from the game on the weekend, leave your team short, and it's all your fault, Jax.
Correct.
Because you were being a cunt.
He's not having.
And now look what's happened.
He's not
and
having
now
any of it.
And now look what you've done and how it's affected the team.
He'll be like, "Fuck C grade."
Fork B is you pull out of the game because of what happened, and it's because of what he did to you,
exactly.
Which means you'll never fucking recover.
No,
ever.
I have to play.
Ever from that.
I have to play.
So you got to play. Pride's on the line. Dare I say, your hand in the relationship, like your place at the fucking head of the table, eating the big bit of chicken at dinner time, is under threat.
Come on, let's not be silly. He's good. He's a good athlete, but
he's only hasn't got the hands.
He said to me not all that long ago, "What are you going to do when I'm bigger and stronger?" I was like, "Listen, I'll tell you what I'll do when you're bigger and stronger. I'll go outside and I'll untie the knot that is harnessing and restraining my my flying pig. And I'll jump on that and I'll fly away into serenity, mate. Because it's never going to fucking happen.
Well, he's already bigger than you.
I said, don't equate
potentially
taller.
Stronger.
Don't equate taller to bigger.
Have you two ever fought it out on the fucking bench?
Huh?
You ever fought it out on the bench?
He would not even contemplate it.
Even with your dicky shoulder, he could probably fucking end you on the bench.
Fucking please. Please.
Just saying, if it came
Never
down to a big battle, there would be a point where your shoulder popped out.
It's not going to be a running race. It's not going to be an endurance sport. It's going to be power. And
right.
Little fella can't match it with the big diesel.
Yeah, you're on the bag every morning when he goes to school. Keep that edge on the heavy bag. Training UFC up there in Toowoomba.
That's it.
Up with fucking up with Vince. Fuck, I can't remember what his school's called. There's good MMA place up there.
Is there?
Yeah, they got a guy, a dude in 1FC.
Okay.
I think he's up there. Reese McClellan. I think Reese McClellan trained Vince Perry. With Vince Perry, I can't remember what his gym's called, but yeah, Vince Perry's the guy.
Sweet.
Like they're legit. So you could go there, train UFC, and get some tools, get some weapons.
Fuck, get some more rib injuries. I've got a rib injury in touch football. How the fuck am I going to go with doing MMA?
Yeah, I mean, what happens when they put you in contact sport? Yeah. Paraplegic.
Oh, fuck, please. My bones would be dust. Do you feel like we need to get to some rugby league chat on this rugby league
not
podcast?
really. Just treat it like a member side. Let's talk about whatever we want.
Fucking talk about whatever. How good.
When the stepdad's away, we do what the fuck we want. We probably should look at the game.
Because he's the guy that keeps it all together. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, but it gives me an excuse to not.
Yeah, fair call.
Friday night, we kicked off with West Tigers versus Canberra Raiders. Raiders 20 defeat the Tigers 19 out there at Campbelltown, which we did a members episode for on Patreon. So you could live through that fucking frantic final 18-minute period or however long where it all happened for the Tigers and a little bit happened for the Raiders at the end there. The Raiders 20 tries, a double to Fogarty, try to Jordan Rapiner, 3 conversions to Fogarty and a penalty goal. Tigers, their 19, tries to Buller, Wakeham and Bateman. 3 conversions to Wakeham and a field goal to Brooksy. It's got him down officially as 1 from 2, but I mean, that second one, come on now. We really going to even call that?
Well, I mean, you have to. He was.
It wasn't. I mean, but it wasn't even in the ballpark of what a field goal attempt is. Really, unless they're trying to knock them over in under sevens.
Fair.
I mean, that's about what it was. Glennie, let's relive it. Look,
I think after this game and some more touch football content, but got to the game on Saturday and said, boys, I think it's important if we just adopt the West Tigers approach. If we play for 10 minutes and do fuck all else for the rest of the game, we'll be good. As it turned out, the other team played for about the last 10 minutes of the game and run away with it after we hung with them for the duration. But for the Tigers, I think if they played for 12 minutes, we probably win. They had field position, possession, all the stats were there. More line breaks. Canberra had more missed tackles.
There's a man advantage there.
Sorry?
There was a man advantage there, though.
True.
I mean, through the crucial period.
Yeah. So they took advantage of it and
most definitely
put points on and took the lead. And then I think to the letter of the law, you can't really hate on the penalty. There was definitely contact.
It was it was what you would call a ticky-tack penalty, while not to the letter of the law. While it was probably awardable, I'm fairly certain. It was like,
should a team lose a game like that?
There was no attack. It wasn't late. The guy was committed, and even when committed in midair and landing, it wasn't like it was a massive hit to like one leg, to the planted leg, while the other one was in the leg or anything.
Yeah,
I mean, like, both legs were on the ground, and it kind of just landed, like, brushed his ankle, like on his feet. Like, it was really like,
Yeah.
And,
but we also, even after that, we did have a reasonable opportunity.
That was the losing of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the West Tigers finished up there. They got a penalty. They got to start a set about halfway. They did everything right for the first couple of sets and just trucked it forward, and they had some really good carries. Well, I can't remember now who the fuck it was, but they had some decent carries. Then they get to about the fourth tackle or whatever, and they start spinning it, and they make some inroads down the left-hand side. They get to about 10 metres out. The clock's like 9 seconds at this, and still ticking down, and so we fucking scream, like, take the tackle, or fucking send it into the middle, take the tackle, and then, give them an easy shot, like chipping it over from 10 metres out, 20 metres out when you give them some space. Easy. But no, they just kept fucking throwing it around and doing dumb shit until at the very end, when there's no time left. Then it comes back to Brooksy, who's in no position or situation where he can possibly have a decent kick in traffic, kicks it. It's abysmal, not even close to going over. It didn't really even threaten to get off the ground. And, not Brooksy's fault there, other than, I guess, not having a voice that demanded to be heard.
Yeah,
to take the fucking tackle or do the, like, set up for a field goal rather than
someone has to take control in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it should have been very clearly.
If it's not Brooks, then it most certainly should have been Appy as captain. And
yeah, and if they're not listening to them, then what the fuck are they doing? Because, I mean, surely when they take that kick for line, when they receive the penalty to get it up to about halfway, surely the strategy is like, okay, boys, 3 tackles, we're fucking going up the guts.
Yeah.
And then we're setting up for, like, and if it's there on the 4th, we'll do it. If it's on the 5th, we'll do it. This is how much time we got left. We had like less than a minute left, about 50 seconds or something left on the clock. This is the time we've got. 3 tackles, and then if it's set, we're going for it. Otherwise, keep rolling. We'll do it on the 5th.
Yeah. That's
the only fucking strategy.
Yeah, it does seem like a no-brainer, but they panicked and... they had, even after the, like, as you call it, a ticky-tack penalty, we still had a chance to send it into Golden Point and weren't good enough. And in the end, the Raiders, they had 2 tries off ricochet kicks from Fogarty.
Hey, and let's talk about that second try too, the second one for Fogarty as well.
Yeah.
Where was it Emre Gula who went for the double hand pushing the back on Brooksy, who was the guy that was headed for the hole where the ball was headed to, before Fogarty could have got to it in try-scoring position.
It's precisely the stuff that they shouldn't miss,
that's what the bunker's for, yeah.
Exactly. But
when you see a guy, when you see a player in position, face planting, I mean, I didn't see Brooks going crazy about it either.
Yeah, but if it's I don't know.
Like remonstrating,
if it's an obstruction play, they look at it 100 times and where was he in position to the outside shoulder and all the rest of it. It's there plain as day.
Yeah, it is. And maybe this is all about Brooksy and his voice. Just speak up, mate.
Yep.
Like, be more of like a Reed Marnie in a situation like this. You feel like you're wronged. You got a double-handed, full-on push in the back from a forward that's taking you out of the play entirely. Get up in the ref's face to slow everything down in terms of the decision making and everything, like, to give the, because the guy upstairs is going to hear this, and of course he's going to look at it when he's, and that would have instantly been disallowed penalty. Tigers 10 metres out, no 100%. Doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Are we going to run through socials?
Oh, look, we can if you want to, because old dead dad, he did send through. He did send through the socials.
Yes.
Let me see if I can scroll through these. What do we got? Trotters. Glennie deserved that.
Yeah, that's fair. I did.
Yeah, you did because of the Dragons slander earlier.
Yeah,
and the constant Raiders slander as well through the season as well.
Look, you put yourself out there, you got to cop it.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm going to do a revenge pod or something fucking stupid like that.
No, exactly. Terry said, Sheenius in the presser stating that he won't whinge like Sticky and get a 10K fine. Salty Sheens. That sounds fairly pragmatic to me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to change. If you go around calling everyone weak-gutted dogs and everything, what's that get you? Nothing. Get you ridiculed. People start sending texts around about you. Oh, what a fucking sook you are. Texas. Now, did you watch the press conferences?
No.
Because I did not. I was still chatting to you. Troy said epic, and I know he is for a fact a Raiders fan. Epic presser from Stewart. Fucking love it. Doesn't give a fuck. Truth bombs coming out left, right, and centre.
Wow.
I think he was asked to address the situation where they rested Croker so that he could have his 300th at home.
Yeah.
And
I did see a snippet where he was like, you guys are going to come out and bag me, but we made a decision, or fucking I can't remember. It's Ricky Stewart. Yeah. I don't pay that much attention.
Yeah. Josh said, frustrating that we panicked at the end when we could have easily taken the tackle and set up a field goal. I'm genuinely convinced that Sheens isn't actually coaching the team. He's just running interference for the media and public while Benji learns on the job with some guidance from above. In the box, it really looks like Benji's doing the work with Robbie as a sounding board while Sheens sits off to the side and stays fairly quiet. Not a bad way to come through if true. High-profile rookie coach without the external pressure. Maybe Sheens is smarter than he looks.
Hopefully he's smarter than he sounds.
I tell you, I just worry about Benji taking advice from Robbie, because that last fucking play was very Robbie.
Yeah.
I've seen Robbie do that in State of Origin several times. With the game on the line. So maybe he's going, okay, let's go and do that. Let's do the old blues play.
Get it to Dugan.
Or I'll just take a field goal from like fucking halfway after I'm tired from making 60 tackles. That somehow exonerates me from being shit and offering nothing at a dummy half.
Can you stop, please? For fuck's sake.
Hey, you let Robbie back in your club, mate, not me.
And I'm less salty about it than you. Why are you still carrying on about Robbie Farah?
Congratulations, sir. It's been a long, hard battle. You've been through three bouts of chemotherapy. I mean, I know it was tough, but you've come through the other side. We've got the test back, and you have officially no trace of prostate cancer in your system anymore. Congratulations. What do you have to say to that? Give me a big fat syringe full of cancer. I'm going to fucking jam myself. I'm going to jam some more back into me, because getting rid of it wasn't enough. I need to have it in me again. Next time, let's not go prostate. Let's give me something more incurable. Inject it straight into my fucking brain. That's the West Tigers. Right there.
It's very explicit.
Yeah. I've got a lot of experience with that shit. The Warriors 30 defeat the Dolphins 8 in New Zealand. The Warriors 30, a double to Sean Johnson, a double to DWZ. Luke Metcalf with the other try. Johnson 5 conversions from as many attempts. The Dolphins 8 tries to Tessie New and Jermaine Osako, with Osako missing both conversion attempts.
I felt like this one was important. The beginning of
maybe a patch for the Dolphins.
Yeah, as I started to say, I think it's an important game in the development of both teams as they in their own ways come of age this season. How the Dolphins back up from this one, it's one of those. It's a game where they weren't in it right up until the very death, and the Warriors really had an explosive last 25 minutes, and the Dolphins couldn't go with them, try as they might. Sean Johnson, again, he's copped a lot of flack. He's copped a lot of criticism over the last several years of his career. A lot of it deservedly so, because his form and his seemingly his attitude on the pitch at times has left a lot to be desired. But for the Warriors now and under Webster, he's just playing a type of game that he hasn't played and displayed previously in his career. It's a little bit like Benji post his Broncos stint, where it was a bit more controlled and it was a bit not as much low percentage plays. You have to give Webster a lot of the credit for that, for at least planting the seeds with Sean Johnson.
You've got to give him all of the credit for it. I mean, it's obviously the systems that he's implemented and the style of football he's got the club playing that, where it takes advantage of, good attributes that Johnson has, curbed some of his, less disciplined tendencies.
Sure.
And it's got him, he's not the electrifying touch player that he was in the, early 2010s. But he's a fucking better player now, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. I think this was, between Bennett and Webster, I think Bennett gets the nod at the end of the season for just purely for the narrative, but...
Yeah, provide they don't shit themselves because there's a bit of a.
I'm talking coach of the year. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a run coming up for them now where they've lost who they lose Milford. Gilbert's out for the season, I think now with his injury that he sustained in Origin. Milford and who else was it? Was it Wallace? They've copped about 3 weeks suspensions from this game.
Still a fair while before O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan comes back.
Yeah, I mean Pexa is he gone for the year or?
No, I'm sure.
Pexa are close to season, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think he'll be back late rounds and then for finals if they make it. So
yeah. So it's it's going to be an interesting time for the Dolphins ahead.
Yeah, I think
a reasonably
it's important.
short turnaround this week as well.
Important how they back up from this game.
Yeah.
Don't maybe
short turnaround coming back from New Zealand, bunch of injuries. Yeah. Staring down the barrel of a 50 burger this weekend. You have anything else you want to say about that one?
No.
Okay, so Rory, not one streaker. Fuck's sake, New Zealand, have a word with yourselves. Michael said, Sean Johnson winding back the clock. That step is always so good to watch. Greg said, it's safe to assume no one knows what a hip drop is anymore. Unfortunately, there's no real reference to which incident in particular he wants to talk about. But, Timmy McIntyre, disappointed on that loss, but clearly the Dolphins were looking forward to their first win in Sydney next week against Manly.
That's purposely inflammatory.
It is. I will not fucking take that bait. David said, it was always going to be hard with JMK a late scratching. MILF circa 2020 seems to be back. Hopefully the judiciary suspend the cunt. Oh, your wish came true. Warriors look good, far and away the better team.
Agreed.
The South Sydney Rabbitohs 46 defeat the Titans 28 down at Hope Solo Coliseum. The Rabbits 46, a hat-trick to Alex Johnson, and he moved up another position on the all-time try scorers list. What did he do? Move into fourth? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Kolomatangi, Graham, Walker, Kenner and Selle with tries. Taffy 6 of 8 conversions and a penalty goal. The Titans 28 tries to Isaac Fasul Malawi, Chris Randall, Lofi Khan Pereira, Jojo Fafita and Tino. Tanner Boyd 4 of 5 conversions.
The Titans started pretty strong in this game, laid on a couple of quick tries and had their lead. I feel like South took their time to click into gear and then across the course of the game, clicked in and out of gear at different stages. And when they were on, the class disparity between the two sides and the ceilings of the two sides was very obvious. But South did show some pretty concerning lapses and complacency, and the commentary said, they're not respecting the football and they're not respecting the Titans, and I think that was fairly accurate. They gifted points to the Titans, and at those stages when South were out of the game, the Titans were definitely good enough to take their opportunities, and hence you end up with a 46-28 scoreline. But I just feel like that's a concerning trend if it continues for South to go, well, we can just turn it on when we want, certainly against the better teams in the comp.
Well, and it's not necessarily the case either, because remember last week as well against the Raiders, it was they ended up going down as well, and conceding 33 points in the process. So I don't know if you just put it down to like Origin. It's Origin time.
Just
players are out, players are tired.
yeah.
Yeah, players are out, players are tired. Blah blah blah. No Latrell. I don't know if it's just as simple as that. I mean, the thing about the Titans is that in attack they do play a very attractive brand of attacking football, but their defense isn't good enough to defend the mistakes that come from that style of football when it doesn't come off, and that's the big mystery, and big question that they need to answer if they're going to become a decent side.
Is Holbrook the type of coach that can instill that next evolution of the way they play? Is obviously to tighten up the defence, and I'm not sure he's a good enough coach.
Yeah, it feels like the Titans' fortunes really just go. They go as injuries and the quality of the players they have on their roster at any given time go, and at the moment there's they've obviously got some great attacking football players, and they've got some reasonable quality and leadership in the forwards, but fuck, they can chuck it in.
Yeah,
like this game. I mean, it was a fantastic first half, and they would have gone in feeling great. And then the second half, they scored a consolation try at the very death. I mean, they got fucking smashed for pretty much that first try that the South scored was almost straight after the break.
Yeah,
like on their second set or something. So, I don't know what the answer is. Now, socials. Thomas says, I'd break my dick too if I was as handsome as Cam Murray. Jai Arrow can stay injured. Bastard's caused enough misery for dogs that the doctor putting him down wouldn't be a huge shame. On the game, leaked too many points, but very happy to get a win on the board. Hammers said, find someone who loves you as much as the Titans love giving up halftime leads. On the plus side, they did score more than 24 points. Was it 26 points? What was it?
26.
26. Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, it was not nearly... Good, it was still 22 few. Jack said the Titans should offer half-price tickets for the rest of the season due to half-a-game performances. Useless fucking pricks. Norts, this team is a fucking joke. Simple errors in attack in the second half and a defensive effort that Alec McKinnon would run rings around.
Oof, brutal.
And final word goes to Josh. It says, match review. Hope Solo Coliseum. The end. Well... Sorry to disappoint you, but we gave you a little bit more than that.
Exactly.
The Broncos. That's right. The Broncos 20 defeat the Sharks 12 down there at Reclaim Australia Stadium. Broncos 20. Tries 2. Staggs, Mam, Arthurs, Farnworth. 2 conversions from 4 attempts to Reynolds. And the Sharks 12 tries to Talakai and Kennedy, with Nico getting both attempts at conversion.
Pretty solid workman-like win on the road from Brisbane. And I think an important one through the Origin period. I expected more from Cronulla at home against one of the better teams in the competition, who were up the top of the ladder. Sharks just went large portions of the game without firing any shots in anger, and it's especially at home. That's the most concerning thing. The Broncos marched in there and just put a solid performance together, and that was enough to knock the Sharks over.
Yeah, yep. And the Sharks have become the 2023 flat track bullies, not being able to defeat anyone in the top 8. And hate to see it. But the thing is about the Sharks is, and I think you and Jay both went for them as far as tips were concerned.
Yeah, I did.
And I just went along with it, I think, on the show. And then when I actually had to enter my tips, I was like, it was like a really mid-win over Manly, and it was a really mid-win over the Knights, who were both like really fucking bad. And honestly, I'm surprised the Broncos didn't ultimately win the game by more. But look, they did what they had to do on the road. Sharks again disappointing, and they got plenty of time to work it out. But the compressed nature of the table at the moment means that two losses for any side in the 8 puts them on the verge of dropping out.
Yeah,
such as, I mean, it's only 3 wins between 1st and 13th.
Wow.
Which is nuts. You know, considering the length of the season.
Finish 7th, as I predicted.
Well, 16th, it's 5 wins, not 3. So, just in mathematics, we say...
Telling me there's a chance.
Look, what are we up to? Round 14? Round 15 coming up. How many rounds we got? Yeah, there's enough games. You're near enough if you're good enough.
And I don't think...
Are you good enough? Well, that's the eternal question, isn't it? Oh, where are we? What's another game to talk about? Oh, no, I've got to do some socials. Phil said, first and only team to 10 wins. Best record in the comp. Fuck your hash. I think his keyboard broke. He was meant to say hashtag fuck the Broncos. Alistair, Broncos retain the whose mother is the bigger criminal memorial shield.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you know, how do you balance vehicular homicide versus giving people hot shots, I guess? Which is worse? I mean, is one worse than the other?
Please stop.
Let us know. Gus, the Bronx are starting to put some good performances in away from outside Queensland. Suppose we're going to have to recognise them as genuine contenders. For fuck's sake. It's all right, Gus, you don't have to recognise anything. Just say hashtag fuck the Broncos and the Blues will just wash away.
And get on with life.
Yeah, get on with life. Walk with a fucking bounce in your step and a smile on your face. Hashtag fuck the Broncos. It's like the Hakuna Matata of rugby league. Peter says, I wasn't happy with the TWiL signing initially, but he's been really good off the bench. Definitely improved his handling and discipline and doesn't offload needlessly. 2 crucial wins in the last 2 have cemented us as a top 4 calibre team. Now it's just about whether we'll be good enough by September to be able to beat a Storm, Souths or Panthers. At this stage, I would say no. Oh, you know, look, at the end of the day, like, Panthers is probably the only guaranteed one. And with Marty, don't forget that you can talk up having 10 wins at this stage of the season. But remember, if it wasn't for Marty, you'd probably have 12. Because he might have improved his discipline, asterisk, but he still cost you some shit too. Toto, under strength away from home, non-Friday night game, we still put those bag of dick-eating motherfuckers away. And finally, from Jay, what a week for Queenslanders supporting the Broncos. Beat the Warriors and Sharks, beat New South Wales against all of the odds. If acting like a cunt to my opposition supporters was a drug, I'd be on cocaine.
That's
sorry, go ahead.
That's a fucking good call. I love it. I love someone that gets engaged in a little bit of chat after a win. It's my kind of man.
Oh, he loves it. Win, lose, draw. He's in there. He's not fucking blowing up his account like Lee Bailey. The Roosters 25 defeated the Bulldogs 24 in Gosford. The Roosters a double to Teddy. Suaalii and Palmer with tries. Kiri field goals. Suaalii 4 from 4 conversions. The Doggies 24 tries 2 to Vita Pangai Jr., Reid Marnie, and a double to the Fox. Birdo 4 of 4 conversions.
All the Teddy simps are pointing to this game as an indicator that he should continue to be picked for Origin.
I mean, they were like Darius Boyd catch and fall tries. I mean, well done, well in for backing up breaks, backing up line breaks and being there. But that's all it was.
Compare it to his performance in the Origin game. I don't know that one of these things is not like the other, including the quality of the opposition. They beat the Dogs by a solitary point.
I mean, Gus might have spent the combined salary of all the players in the New South Wales squad this year on players that aren't as good as them. No, not at all. I mean,
impressed with the Fox. It was good to see the Fox break out in the full into top gear. Yep,
he's definitely ready to go. He's definitely back from the injury that took him out of most of this season.
Exactly.
And so I imagine he'll certainly be taking his spot in Origin 2, and hopefully we get a halfback that's going to fucking send the ball out that side. Wouldn't that be a treat? So the motherfucker doesn't catch pneumonia out there. Look, the Doggies in this game, okay, so they lost Reid Marnie from the knee lift. What do you make of that? It's the way he's running his entire career, so...
Exactly.
Makes you wonder about the coaching credentials of Robbo. I mean, given that he hasn't been able to fix the running style of Swali with the raised knees. Radley flat out refuses to fucking change his ways.
Mm.
Some would say he's lost the fucking dressing room. Well, you got young players and not listening to him.
Fair.
Is that not a coach's fucking job and responsibility?
Yeah, I think you're being harsh.
It's been said that he's Trent Barrett with a budget. Comments?
That's just you being inflammatory.
People are talking, Glennie. Asterisk me.
So who got done for the knee lift though? Did you say Reed Marnie?
Yeah, Reed Marnie. No, Reed Marnie took it to the face.
Swali.
From
Yeah.
Swali,
I was like, hang on a sec. I think you're being a bit harsh on Robbie. He doesn't actually coach Reed Marnie.
Yeah.
So
Reed Marnie, well, like the blatant illegality of jamming your face into someone's knee. You can cause ACLs. You can take people's seasons out with that sort of stuff.
The thing with Swali is 2 weeks ago they were saying they were going to cut him.
Yeah. And now they don't have to because he's off for 3 weeks. Well, I mean, when you say they, though, we're talking about,
Yeah, it probably wasn't coming
Fox
first hand from the Roosters, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like, the Crawleys and the fucking Hoopers of the world are probably saying that shit.
Just cannot see, knee lifts aside. How does that look in rugby, though?
Oh, they fucking love it. Campese was fucking huge for it.
A knee lift?
I don't fucking know. I was just trying to think of rugby union player names. What do I know?
Fuck. So he's famous for a goose step. I don't know about a knee lift.
Yeah, this is the same potato.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So your knees don't lift when you're doing a goose step. Is that what you're saying? They stay on the same horizontal.
Look, I'm a
axis,
fucking explosive winger, but I haven't got a goose step in my kit bag.
Well, no, that's right. Because you can't lift your knees.
Well, I mean, how do I manage
too much
to
arthritis
run? Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
You give yourself a fucking dislodged patella if you try to do a fucking goose step.
No, thanks. Appreciate you shitting on me like every other cunt.
Yeah, but I'm not actually doing it like when you're at the game though. Like I would be cheering you. I'd be like Dale Arden down the sideline with Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. Oh, you got that reference, did you?
Yes.
Wow. I'm fucking stunned. That is people. 9:53 p.m. Market, Wednesday, 7th of June 2023. Glennie has finally got a reference. And not the most fucking... Not the easiest one either. That's the reference you're going to get after all these years. That's the one. Wow. All right.
So good.
Yep. It's good. The fact that you got it actually made it so much better because, I mean, if you didn't know it, I'd be fucking get on YouTube sending you fucking...
like 1,000 times before, yes.
Yeah, yep. Okay.
What that still stumps me? Is Dr. Pepper and Trout.
Yeah, you don't... Yeah, because it's... I'm going to take a note right now. This is great listening. I'm going to take a note right now to try and find it because it was an old SNL skit from probably between 97 and 99, I reckon.
Wow.
When Danny Aiello was the special guest on Saturday Night Live, and it was a skit with him, and it was. I'm going to find that fucking sketch and I'm going to send it to you, Glennie, and you're going to get it finally after all these years. But socials now for this one. Where is it? Did he send me him? Yes. Oh, he did. Well, he wasn't that dead. That wasn't the right game. That's a melt. Oh, look, he's even sent socials in the wrong order. Kind of like when he does when he starts. Oh, here we go. I found it. He names the socials after the socials.
Yeah, correct.
Like he sends a bunch of shots and then he goes, "Oh yeah." Terry said the Dogs let that one get away there. Marnie's game management went with his HIA. I would agree. As much as the refereeing was poor and probably got the Chooks over the line, the Dogs had to ice that game with 15 to go. Teddy, despite what Fox ejaculated, was again fairly poor today in defence. Shout out to TPJ, who played a monster of a game. I agree with you on TPJ. I think when you're talking about Fox Sports in a game where Josh Adokar plays, you need to be more specific when you're talking about people ejaculating, because I don't think Josh Adokar cared about Teddy. And I don't think he ejaculated.
You know exactly what he meant. You just because it's Terry.
I love Terry. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Terry talks a lot of shit.
He does, but I mean, he can take it.
He can.
He's not like Lee Bailey, who still listens to the podcast, but won't but ejected himself out of the Facebook group. Of course, he listens. In between fucking listening to Lex Fridman and fucking Jordan Peterson and reading Ben Shapiro. Brendan Bush says, the Fox gave the victory to the Roosters for running into the play of the ball to advise the ref of an HIA. He may have lost the game, but he gets a moral victory for assisting the ref. Good bloke. Richard said, the Roosters continue to look unbalanced with their biggest problem, their edge defence. Suaalii and Corey Allen did not make a good defensive unit. At least Suaalii was playing on the wing. Teddy looked better in attack but needs more support. The Roosters got lucky at times, and you definitely got the impression that was one that got away from the Dogs. I was talking to some Dogs fans before this game and saying that you fucking got them. I mean, you've got them at their absolute lowest point since probably 2016. When was the last time the Roosters were objectively shit? And
they've got a couple of spoons in there.
Was 16 was their last bad season? I think it was. Yeah. Jason said, this is a prime example of a team needing a halfback, someone who will take control when it's needed, especially in the last 15 minutes to close out the game. I'd agree. That was there to be won that was there to be won the entire time, and Doggy's just not good enough. The Cowboys 45 defeated the Storm 20 up at the Abattoir. The Cowboys 45 tries. What do we got here? A hat trick to Valame. Valentine Holmes and a try, Nanai a try, Chad Townsend a try and a double to Murray Taulagi. Chad with a field goal, disrespectful, and 6 of 8 conversions to Val Holmes. The Storm's 20 tries to Coates, Meaney and Olam. Meaney 3 conversions and a penalty goal. My only comment on this game is what the fuck?
Where did that come from?
Like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah. It's exactly what I've got in my notes. Not sure where that came from, but the Cowboys, I feel like they needed a win like that to get somewhere back to where they were last year, and we've spoken about it a number of times over the course of the season so far that they've dropped, and it's Peyton's job to pick them back up and find a way for the team to evolve. Teams have worked them out. Their form's been poor and they haven't been getting what they need to out of some of their bigger names. And, this is one, against the Storm, big names in their side, and the Cowboys, come around, put 40, a try away from putting 50 on them. So the new semi obviously gave a few Cowboys fans some semis. Fucking hat trick in no time whatsoever in his first game for them. So, fair job backing that up next week. Did you see Jerome Hughes' attempted tackle on Valentine Holmes? Holmes got an out ball, come off the left foot, beat one, and then swerved, and Jerome Hughes collapsed like he'd been shot from the grandstand. I like Jerome Hughes, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but
sometimes you just get beat. Doesn't happen a lot.
He's getting beat, and he was fucking ended up strewn on the fucking ground without getting anywhere near him.
Yeah. This game. This is such a fucking weird game, though. Like, I mean, even the Cowboys had some poor defense out on
Xavier Cade's try was fucking atrocious.
Yeah, like out on Hiku's side, like it was fucking. It looked like they were going to break through there at will. I mean, they obviously, they didn't. They stopped scoring tries at a fairly early point, but there was no precedent like to see this coming. I mean, the Cowboys just got beaten by 60 by fucking West Tigers.
Yeah.
And Storm been travelling okay, like obviously not, certainly not dominating or anything like that,
yeah.
but still, reasonable performances and a reasonable run of form. But like this is one for me. It was one of the most mystifying upsets that I can fucking remember.
Yeah,
like such was the magnitude of the defeat, and and the teams and the recent fortunes of both the teams going into it. It's fucking mystifying. But hey, up the Storms. Eat a dick, Storms. Hey, did you see that thing today? Bulldog Richie.
Fuck the Storm and fuck the Cowboys.
Bulldog Richie did a tweet something saying about Ryan Pappenhausen in line for a shock return sooner than you think. And then the reply to the tweet for that article, first reply, Ryan Pappenhausen. Yeah, look, not really. What did he say? That's
fucking hilarious.
That is the best part of social media, when like you can have the horse's mouth straight back in,
kicking the horse's ass.
Yeah, debunking straight away. Yeah, so this is exclusive, #exclusive. Ryan Pappenhausen eyes shock injury return. And he replies, yeah, look, not quite.
That's brilliant.
Right.
That old firm of journos between, fucking Rothfield and Richie, and
yeah,
the sooner they fucking fall off the perch and retire, the better.
Yeah, but then you got like the next generation who are older but younger than them. Yeah, that's when you get into your guys like your fucking Kents and Hoopers, and they're fucked too.
Yeah,
you need to wipe the slate clean.
Jesus, give it to the new media.
Talking genocide on journalists.
Wow. Don't know that we want to put that out there, do we?
Oh, it doesn't matter if we do put it out there, does it? I mean, it's not like
I got a train carriage just for Paul Kent.
Why are you going to give him a luxurious ride to the farm?
It's not going to be luxurious.
Benny said after that, I think they're called the Melbourne Light Sprinkles. Carsten, that serves them right, cheating purple cunts. Couldn't have said it better myself. Jordan said Bellamy's regretting signing on for another full year after that fornication. Fuck, I have a full body erection after watching that. Cameron, with the correct take of the Cowboys can't decide if they're a dom or a sub. Moving on to the final game of the round, the Panthers 26 defeat the Dragons 18. This one's out at Penrith at Bluebet. The Panthers 26 came through a double to Brian To'o, Taruva and Leota with tries. Cleary, 1 conversion. Crichton, 2 of 3. 2 penalty goals to Crichton. Dragons 18. A double to Michaeli Ravalawa. Zach Lomax with the other one. 1 from 3 attempts and conversions for Zach Lomax. 2 penalty goals. And this game, of course, notable for Nathan Cleary leaving the field with an injury that appears to be an up to 6 week hamstring injury.
Yeah, looks a damn shame. But when one door closes, another door opens. And when that door opens, 2 giant, shiny golden balls march in the form of Jack Cogger. It is time for Golden Balls Jr. to shine.
It's about this time they're wishing that they still had O'Sullivan.
How dare you? They knew what they had in Golden Balls Jr. That's why they let him go. I feel like the Dragons are still playing like they're trying to get the coach sacked.
But in saying that, though, like balls deep in this game until, 60
Hey, let me
65
have my
minutes.
moment by talking shit about the Dragons.
All right, go for it.
Why you got to bring logic into this?
Talk your shit, man. That's all right. The floor is yours.
No. In all seriousness,
this is the first Penrith game and the only Penrith game you're ever going to have freedom of speech in.
I don't know what to do with it.
Well, you got to go. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I
read a medical journal, and
the Dragons were just there, and they had no impact on the game at all. It wasn't anything to do with them. They may as well not even been there.
Yeah,
this game all came down to Penrith.
Exactly. And I read a medical journal, something about pedophiles.
Where's that come from?
That's just what he says.
Right, okay. I must switch off. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, you do.
I probably just glaze over.
I wish I had that ability. Dragons, competitive. Panthers, tried to, obviously did well to overcome the injury to Cleary, and such is the quality of their side and the personnel left there that they still managed to get the job done. It's the next 6 weeks that I'd be concerned about, because now teams are like, okay, they're without Cleary. Try and find some additional chinks in the armour without him steering them around the park. So, yeah, I think the Dragons, they were a long way from horrible in this game. But Penrith, I think it just come down to, the coaching and then the quality of the rest of the players to rally around the loss of Cleary that got the job done for the Panthers.
Yep. Agree. Okay, so let's see what the socials are for this one. Lachlan said the ice in Cleary's veins are now on his hammies. His hamstrings display the strength of his Origin performances.
Oh.
And the other one he's got in there is Trotters saying, "I'm not one the ref's fault, but," and then includes a photo of him with the ref's fault scarf from back in the day. I think it's when he was standing behind like Hindy or something, wasn't he?
Yeah. With the dumbest look on his face.
Yeah.
Like, dead set. Absolute mouth breather.
And so, I mean, we do, well, here's the thing. we look at hamstring injuries over the past 2 NRL seasons, and Cleary is sitting at 2, and Tom Trbojevic is sitting at 0. So I don't know what you want to infer from that, but I believe biscuit is the common vernacular that people like to use. And, me personally, I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying. You're hearing it more and more. Now, news this week. Glennie, the first one I want to talk about is, was it today, or did I text you, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
I sent you a texter telling you the news that Sean Bloor, David Nofaluma, who's the other one? Dane Laurie? There's one more. Who am I forgetting?
Jake
Simpkin have been told by the West Tigers that their services are not required in 2024 and they are free to find new homes from next year. As a West Tigers aficionado and possibly the foremost expert on all things West Tigers.
Oh, that's a big call. I don't know if I can
what do you make of
that
it?
Title. I think the writing was on the wall, certainly for Noffa at the start of the season. He spent a fair bit of time out of the side playing Reggie's. Since he's come back in, though, you can't fault his effort and his application. What are you smiling at?
Nothing.
Nothing,
pal.
It's not nothing.
Nothing. I'm just. It's just fun to hear you justify David Nofaluma. In the offset, he went to Storm, on a loaner for the short-lived finals period. Yep. After he got out of the Storms, my mistake. He was nothing about. There was nothing coming out of his mouth except, "Oh my god, it was so fun being at a professional side. I love the Storms. Storms."
Yeah, look, I didn't enjoy that. But I think they've had to put him back in the side, and to his credit, he's tried to put his best foot forward. But as I said, I think the writing was definitely on the wall at the start of the season to show the level of regard as far as being the teams in the starting lineup through the Sheens, Benji, Robbie, whoever's calling that shot. But Jake Simpkin, couple of injuries. I don't think he's been horrible. He's playing behind Appy. I don't know whether they think Mana coming up from Reggie's.
Well, he's come back, so it's the only thing I can see in the future for the Tigers. Finally fulfilling his destiny that you bestowed upon him back when we started the show.
Fuck, it seems like a million years ago. So I think Simpkin has a future in the NRL. Noffa will get picked up somewhere, probably the Titans or fucking, I don't know, the Bulldogs.
Doggies.
Yeah.
Or does he go down to the Storms?
Oh, I don't know. They've got Warbrick and Coates.
Yeah, but neither of them are incredible though either, right?
Xavier Coates.
Yeah,
you would take David Nofaluma over Xavier Coates.
I wouldn't take.
Are you high?
I wouldn't take David Nofaluma over fucking Brett Plowman today for the wing. Fair. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Coates and Warbrick aren't fucking amazing.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's not that they're fucking, prime Fox and prime BMOS on fucking each wing there. I mean,
look, if you're just going to keep stating really obvious shit.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it's not like it's impossible to usurp them, and it's a club he's been around before, and they clearly liked him enough to, bring him down for the loaner last year.
Blore is one that probably baffles me a little bit. They've had big raps on him for the last couple of years. Obviously, he had an injury last year, which kept him out for almost a whole year. So I don't know if it's more to that or hasn't really endeared himself to the new coaching staff or whatever the case might be. But Blore hasn't had enough opportunity in first grade, in my humble opinion. But I can see Dane Laurie, obviously, I think they had an inkling that they were going to try and play him at 6, but I don't know how he goes making 20 tackles a game, 20 to 25 tackles a game, playing 6. He just doesn't have the size. Also, hasn't endeared himself to the club or certainly the fan base on more than one occasion by, liking Instagram posts of opposition players scoring against his own team, or
I feel like he's probably the no-brainer out of the bunch.
Yeah,
because obviously he hasn't played much first grade this year, if any. There was talk that he was
Buller's killing it, and they're obviously that's their guy. So which I don't have any issue with that decision, but.
In terms of potential talent and performances, I think Blore's the only one that's mystifying. Simpkin's just there. I mean, he's a first grader-ish player, but probably, he's not starting at any other side in the comp most probably at the today. And then you got Noffa, who's
probably get a start at Manly.
Then you got Noffa, who's I don't want to say a club legend. But he's a fairly tenured player and beloved.
Holds a fair few records.
Yeah, okay. So club legend David Nofaluma. You said it, not me.
I didn't actually utter those words, but yeah.
You implied it.
I also imply that you're a cunt most fucking episodes
outright,
of the show. I wish you took more notice of that.
You don't imply that. You outright say that. So, you happy for all four of those guys? Well, I guess it doesn't fucking matter what you think, but
Well, no, I'm not heartbroken over any of them, if I'm honest.
Yep. How many of them go to England? Maybe Noffa goes to England and becomes Man of Steel
On the wing,
and then comes back to the Titans on $700,000 a year.
it seems legit.
To finish with a spoon. Also, the doggies have told Paul Alamotti and Jake Averillo that they too can find new homes. This to me feels like a somewhat different situation.
Definitely.
To the one the Tigers are talking about.
I feel like they've probably been two of their most consistent performers.
Yeah, and I think certainly outperforming the amount of money that they're spending on them, given some of the other big contracts they got lying around there.
Yeah. Those, when you look at the pure value for money factor, those guys would be reasonably high on the list.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who hates the Bulldogs and cares nothing for their future prosperity, it feels like Averillo's really come on this year.
Yeah, but he was much maligned in the last year or so.
Remember, they've been a completely uncoached side since about fucking 2016. Like literally uncoached until they got Serraldo. So. And you could argue that they're uncoached. I mean, given their performances, they're still uncoached. But
yeah, having said that, if they're not at the Dogs, where do they go? One probably ends up at Cronulla, and one ends up at the Titans.
Yep, that's your answer for everything.
Well, I mean, because that's where players that get dumped from clubs end up. Yeah.
Now look, Dylan Brown, he's been the NRL have stood him down, effective immediately, as part of the game's no-fault stand-down policy as he fights sexual touching allegations in court. The allegations don't meet the criteria in terms of penalties for their automatic stand-down. However, as they showed with Luciano Leilua last year, or this year, was it this year? They, when it comes to crimes against women, they do tend to use their discretion and do the stand-down thing. Now, Brown fronted court today. I don't think he's back in court for another 3 weeks. So you're going to have to. So you would say that he's going to be stood down for at least that period of time, and I guess we'll see from there. The weird things about this one were the weird statement that his lawyer made outside of the court, where he was saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was saying that the CCTV does not support the allegation that he touched the woman's breasts with 2 hands on 5 occasions, which to me sounds like a lot of wordplay. Yeah. It's it was 4 times, was it? Yeah. Or was it 5? Or was it only 1 hand once or twice? Or it sounded really sus, and maybe that wasn't the intention, but it sounded sus.
It sounded like he's like, okay, I need to have a look at what the charges are, and then find a way to dance around it.
Yeah. And
find some loopholes, so you get a no contest type situation.
Yeah, but, I mean, we have some insight into the police side of things, and from what I've heard, what happened was at the nightclub, it was 5 separate touches spread over a period of time. He's allegedly grabbed her on the tits, she's giving him a hug. Then he's grabbed her on the tits, she's giving him a hug. He's grabbed her on the tits, she's asked for an autograph. He's grabbed her on the tits, and then the 5th time, she's sort of turned. And that's when it got to the stage, the point where we see today. The CCTV, has to support that, I suppose. There's every chance that this becomes just a matter of he pays some money, it goes away, because there's not really a lot to support it. But we'll find out over the next couple of weeks. And then we saw the absolute brain genius, Sean
Galaxy
Lane.
Brain,
absolute genius. And Parramatta players themselves, his teammates, not showering themselves in glory when the media was there talking to players in the club. I don't know how it works at Parramatta. If it's like Manly, usually Manly each week, they got 3 guys and they go, okay, it's your turn this week. And so you'll get 3 interviews out of 3 different guys, and this changes, weekly, and Siebes will front up as well. I'm not sure how it works at the Eels, but I imagine it's a similar sort of thing. However, on this occasion, when there is sensitive stuff going on in terms of legal issues, Parramatta deemed it necessary to make one of their media guys, Sean Lane, the aforementioned alleged dumbest player in the game, and he got up there, and you watched it more recently than I did. What was he saying? He was sort of saying like, "Oh, that's
part of the game, mate.
It's part of the game." Yeah, no,
really?
No, fuck. It's not
sexual assault type allegations are part of the game. Thanks for your input, Sean.
It's literally not part of the game, and hasn't been a part of the game since fucking Hopper got handsy with the Cowboys players, and that was like 20 years ago, right? Like, fucking hell. And then an article came out later saying that other Parramatta players didn't appear to understand the seriousness of the situation, making cat and dog calls from inside the adjacent demountable buildings while
that's
the interview was taking place.
That's the tone-deaf part of it.
Yeah, and then which has prompted, they say it's prompted Gutho to step in and tell his teammates to stop their taunting. So...
a club that finds itself in a situation where Clint Gutherson is the voice of reason is a club in crisis.
Yes. So Parramatta in crisis. Luckily for them, they've got a very able replacement for Dylan Brown in young Jake Arthur, son of the coach. So they should have no problem in halves filling that hole.
Why are you the way you are?
Because it sells, baby. It sells tickets. Sells tickets to the games.
Jesus
Rugby league. I'm an influencer.
Wow. You are a bad influencer.
Go look at my snatch. Okay, round 15 coming up. The Cowboys get the bye. First game, Thursday. Gold Coast Titans versus West Tigers at Hope Solo. Can our Titans supporting affiliates expect to see you down there, Glennie?
Unfortunately not. I'm not going to be able to make it down for the game. I was trying to find a way, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yep.
I apologise.
Thursday nights are fucking hard, though.
Yeah. It's just, by the time I get down, fair enough I could get down there, but then it's 10 o'clock before you fucking head home. It's a 2.5, 3 hour drive by the time I get here. Yeah. And then I've got to back up for work the next morning.
You're not a young man.
I'm really not.
The Titans, they lose Kinney, Jojo Fafita, Chris Randall, Dave Fafita, but they welcome in fullback AJ Brimson, Brian Kelly's back, Cruz Leaming's back on the bench, Jamin Jolliffe to the bench. Then they've got a bunch of changes as well with Philip Sami going from centre to wing, Isaac Fasul-Mala Aui front row to the bench, Tino from the bench to the front row, and Sam Verrills from the bench to the hooker. So now they've got Verrills back, maybe they can start seeing some action out of him. The West Tigers side, Simkin goes to the bench, Appy goes to hooker after the change last week, no doubt, which resulted from Appy needing a bit of a rest after State of Origin. Talk me through the game, Glennie. How's it going to go down?
Well, hopefully we play for more than 10 minutes.
Titans narrow favourites.
Yeah, probably that makes sense. I think Titans can fucking score points, so the Tigers really need to be on point defensively. The Titans are going to work them across the park and give the ball a bit of air, which is going to test the defence of the Tigers out. I think if the Tigers are switched on and don't drop their heads after last week's loss, I feel like doing it away from home is another challenge, but I feel like they can get the job done. But if they underestimate the Titans, they could get thumped. That's my concern.
Yeah, but if they play
just a weird bogey team for us too.
If they play the high completion game that they've been playing the last sort of 5-6 weeks, the Titans, I think, are a poorer defensive side than probably any of the sides that they've faced over that period. And like the Tigers aren't that bad defensively either. I think so. Look, I think this is a matchup when you're the West Tigers and you're not like a top team in the competition or anything like that. But I think you look at games like this Titans game and go, this is a team extremely beatable side.
Yeah.
And like one of the games,
it's the same way that the Tigers look at Penrith, you know.
Yeah, well, no, they look at that game like, you know, we fucking wish and hope, and sometimes wishes come true. They did this occasion.
1 from 1 this year.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a long time ago when you lost to Canberra.
Yeah,
got smashed by Canberra last week.
Who are a bogey side, as are the Titans.
They're a team that's going to be on a 9-game winning streak, according to you.
I like to talk. Fucking. I like to talk a lot of shit, not as much as you, but I like to talk a lot of shit. And I generally stick it to the Titans, but I'm genuinely concerned about this game.
I think the West Tigers are fucking specials.
Oh, fuck, that makes me feel worse.
Titans cannot fucking back it up week in, week out.
Okay.
West Tigers just have to do their high possession game. If West Tigers play their high possession, low mistake, you know, great meters from the middles game, I just don't think that the Titans can go with it. Titans need a lion's share of ball to score to score lots of points. Sure, they can score, but if the West Tigers do their thing, high completions, high possession, starve them of possession, I'm expecting Brooksy to fucking pump those little legs all the way to a fucking Blues jersey.
Another unleashed performance.
The Raiders take on the Warriors down in Canberra. Smith Shields out for all he's out, and Mariota is out. Sebastian Chris returns to fullback. Jared Croker, his 300th game at centre. Whitehead to second row. Kotrick goes from wing to bench again. Albert Hopewade from centre to wing. Solo goes front row to bench, and Horsburgh goes from second row to lock, and Tarpanay lock to front row. Fuck, that's a lot of unnecessary changes from you, Ricky. The Warriors side, Rocco Berry's out. Ali Leatawa comes in. That's just a switcheroo in the centres. How do you see it?
6th versus 7th, Raiders reasonably tight favourites. I think that's got more to do with the fact that Raiders are playing at home. Warriors on the road, but Raiders got the job done in a tight one against the Tigers last week, aided and abetted by, you know, some circumstances that went their way.
The referee. That's all right. You don't have to say it, Glennie. You don't have to say it. I'll say it.
Okay, cool.
Tigers were robbed. I was there. I saw it.
Wow.
Please continue.
I'm going to go the Warriors in an upset.
I'm going to go the Warriors in an upset too. Canberra ain't shit. They're so easy to beat. I swear to God.
Why are you doing all the shit talking this week?
Because Manly went down to Canberra 2 weeks ago and fucking beat them by 40. That's why.
Okay.
They're easy to beat in Canberra. They ain't shit. The milk's not there anymore.
The milk
There's
has
nothing
been
there.
Bad.
The only possible trump card that the Raiders have is some kind of emotional connection to old teary-eyes Jared Croker in his 300th game, and if the boys want to rally around him and get it done for him. I
forgot it was that fucking absolute weak-kneed, quivering mess of a human being's 300th game. Warriors by 40.
And with old teary eyes missing a conversion from 10 meters outside the uprights, to bring it inside 36 point margin.
Love it.
The mighty Manly Seabs Eagles take on the Dolphins at Brookie Friday night game. The Manly side lose KO Weeks to dropped. Brad Parker, I think he fractured his elbow 2 weeks ago. Cooper Johns, I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He's not listed in any of the other sides. He's just disappeared. He might have got taken out the back of the fucking shed. Jacob Arthur drops off the bench. They welcome back Tommy Turbo. They welcome back Daly Cherry Evans, and in lesser news, they welcome back Christian TWiL to the wing and Josh Aloye to the bench. Rubes is going to centre again with TWiL going onto the wing. The Dolphins side, they lose Milford to suspension, Wallace to suspension, Mason Teague and Max Plath. In comes the Hammer to fullback. Jerry Marshall King comes into hooker. Farmer Sealy comes to front row and Kurt Donahoe to the bench. Nicarima, he's going to move from fullback to 5'8". Ray Stone is going to move from hooker to lock. SASA moves front row to bench.
If the Dolphins didn't have the result that they had last week, I would give them a strong chance in this game, but Manly at Brookvale, Friday night, should be a decent crowd at that absolute fucking shithole.
You've been there. Am I correct in saying that you've been there once?
No, more than that. I went there several times as a child to watch the
as a child, okay. I was going to say, because we went there together after the 2011 grand final.
Yes. Yes, we
got to score some tries on the hallowed ground.
I remember... What did we eat that night?
I don't remember what we ate, but I remember that we had some
pizza?
Beers. Oh, yeah, we probably went to Mimo's.
That's it, Mimo's.
Because you got to. But I remember... And we were with Aaron, though, and he had those beers, and we had to, power scull those beers before we got in. Didn't we? Or was that just me sculling the beer?
I didn't drink that beer.
I remember we couldn't take him in through the gate, so I was just we just had to power skull through a 6-pack to get in on the way into the gate. Good times, fucking great times.
Was I drinking bourbons in those days?
I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
Oh, no.
That was the first year of when we sort of had meetups, but not at venues, just at the stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the days. Dolphins down with some troops. I mean, you can't discount the wily old Wayne Bennett in getting the people that he has on the field up for the game. But I mean, it is fair to say that without guys like Gilbert, it's tough for the Dolphins. They haven't got Wanda Sykes there either, and they're two of the ones that have been sort of like the absolute backbone of
exactly.
Like the aggression and a bit of X factor in just aggressive X factor in defence for the side. The Hammer coming back into the side is great. Isako is playing one of his best seasons as well. I mean, he's legitimately been good this year, and not from just a handy goal kicking perspective, but he's legitimately been fucking playing great on the wing. So look, I mean, with TWiL back in the side, I mean, there's opportunities there to be had. And I expect to see the Hammer fucking have a fairly good game as well. Halves, not at their best for the Dolphins. Manly, it's another one of these games where they get Daly and Schuster together, Tommy back in the side as well. And as per history dictates, the average point scored with Schuster in the side's 34. So my prediction is, I've got a soft spot for the Dolphins, but this is the one game of the year where that goes away, and I think that they're going to make this. It's going this first battle between these sides. It's going to look like the fucking Taiji Dolphin slaughter in Japan.
Oh god!
It's the harbor's going to fucking run red with the blood of this new side as they sustain their first 50 burger in club history.
Wow, that's some of the biggest loads of shit you've ever delivered on this show.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
So what? How much Manly are going to win by? Not 50. They're not going to score 50. They're going to score what?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins struggle to get ascendancy in the middle, and I think that they need that with those halves. They need the forwards to get a serious roll on. I just don't know that they've got the troops there to get the job done.
So therefore, everything I said is correct. Excellent.
Manly By 10 points.
10. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a fucking win, to be perfectly honest. The Dragons take on the Rabbitohs. This one's happening at Netstrata Jubilee. Out for the Dragons is Jack DeBellin. In comes Zane Musgrove. So out goes Jack DeBellin. In comes Zane Musgrove. So what we call that?
And that is what we call that a cunt transplant.
We call that a like for like, a like for like replacement. And Ben Murdoch Masilla goes from bench to lock. Rabbitohs side, Jai Arrow is out, and he's injured for a reasonable amount of time, isn't he? He's certainly ruled out for the rest of Origin.
I'm not sure how many. Yeah, at least 4 to 6 weeks, I think.
Yep. Cam Murray also out. Jed Cartwright comes in, and Saliva Havili comes into the bench, which will please our boy Redpath. And Shaq Mitchell goes from bench to lock.
Rabbitohs by plenty.
Even without Cam Murray, and without Latrell Mitchell, it's difficult to see the Dragons getting over the Rabbits here, right?
Yeah, well.
I said difficult. You're saying okay, yeah. I mean, it's the Dragons side to push the Panthers all the way.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I don't think the Dragons have the points in them. I don't think they have the coaching. I don't think they have the personnel, and I don't think they have the fan base to get the job done.
I agree on all counts. Depleted Rabbitohs, not nearly depleted enough to make this a contest.
Rabbitohs by plenty.
Broncos take on the Knights, Suncorp Stadium, Saturday afternoon. Jesse Arthurs is out on the wing. Selwyn Cobbo comes in. The Newcastle Knights side, Jack Johns is out, and Tyson Frizzell comes in with Kurt Mann, Glennie's mate, to the bench.
That's enough for me to tip the Broncos.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Newcastle Knights are an extremely mid-side.
Made
really can only take their opportunities.
Exponentially worse by the worst player in the NRL.
In Kurt Mann, just to be clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Newcastle. Could have been anyone.
Yeah, look, I don't see this one as a particularly troubling game for the Broncos. They'd have this one penciled in as a win, and I think that they'll do it pretty easily based on the last month of Knights football.
$1.20 favourites, the Broncos. That says it all.
The Roosters take on the Panthers. Saturday night, Allianz Stadium. Suali'i is out. They welcome back Daniel Tupou. Corey Allen moves to the centre to replace Suali'i, and the Panthers side, Cleary out. Salmon comes in, and Cogger bench to halfback. The crucial move that you've been waiting your whole life for, Glennie.
Here we go.
Little son of golden nuts. Halfback steering a fucking yacht instead of a fucking dinghy.
Look, I just think it's a welcome change for Penrith to have the son of a player that actually did something in the NRL or in rugby league.
Yep, agreed.
I'm talking about Jack Cogger. He was, father is an absolute legend of the sport, and played in the toughest time of the sport for the toughest team in the sport.
He came from a time when men were still named Trevor.
Seems like so long ago. Mainly,
how many Trevors you know now?
One that's actually a bit younger than me. Actually, I should point out. Yeah,
he must be the last of the Trevors, though.
His dad is a bit old school, I suspect.
I remember I went to school with one or two Trevors, but I mean that's still that puts your guy like younger than them though.
100%. Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah, I still think Penrith absolutely blitzed the Roosters. I'll be honest with you.
The Roosters are just not showing anything. They're so fucked in so many different areas of the game at the moment. It's hard to see how they.
Whatever they are showing, it's not nearly enough.
And I guess,
and honestly,
I expect Penrith to win so easily in this game, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the nucleus of players they have in that side and the system that's been created for that nucleus of players can withstand any of those players not being there at any given time.
I expect Dylan Edwards to have an absolute wow of a game up against Tedesco.
I expect the son of Golden Nuts to have a wow of a game.
Well, I think
that
goes without saying.
Because I think that if nothing else, he can be a system for halfback as well. Panthers by plenty.
I like where your head's at.
Maybe 50. The Storms take on the Sharks down at the Korean Housewife in Melbourne. Justin Olam is out. Tarek Sims comes into the bench. Grant Anderson moves from bench to centre. Sharks, they lose Hazleton. They welcome back Cam McInnes. And that's it.
Test for Melbourne after being pumped by the Cowboys last week. And as I said, Cronulla didn't impress me at all. And I've got raps on Cronulla this year, but they didn't impress me at all last week against Broncos. So two teams looking to claw back a bit of respect and a bit of pride. I think I'd probably have to lean towards Melbourne given that they're at home. And they'd be stinging after that game against
I feel like the Storm, I think, we talk about bounce backs and things like that. I think that the Storm are one club where a performance like that you think would actually result in some sort of bounce back.
Exactly.
I would expect it from them. And yeah, I equally wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the Sharks managed to jag this win either, but I have to favour the Storm at home.
Yeah, agreed.
Doggies take on the Eels. The Eels in crisis. Blake Wilson's out for the Doggies. Ryan Sutton's out. Carraz comes into the wing and Patolo to the bench. Tavita Pangai Jr. goes from lock to front row. Harrison Edwards bench to lock. The Eels side. Okay. So one of their big performers this year, Greg, is out. Joe Offahangawe's out. Moretti's out. RCG comes back in. Junior Paulo comes back in. Andrew Davey makes a return. And Matt Dory moves from second row to bench. And the team list I have here still has Dylan Brown. He has since been stood down. So who is playing 5'8" for them this week, Glennie?
That's an excellent question. Not Jacob Arthur.
Jacob Arthur overlooked again. I have no idea who's replacing him. I'm just trying to do a quick little search while... Tell me your thoughts about the game.
Well, Dylan Brown is a big out. I think Moses is still good enough to steer them around the park. I don't know that they need to score a huge amount of points to get over the Dogs. And just a bit stronger through the forwards. Para. Bulldogs definitely have the ascendancy in the hooking position. I think, Josh Hodgson is showing that he's definitely lost more of a step than what we might have suspected. But I do have to lean towards Para. Just their starting front row in RCG and Junior Barlow is formidable. And then, if they can get a platform set early, give Moses a bit of time and space, I think he can steer him around and overcome the loss of Dylan Brown, given his indiscretion. So I'm gonna have to go Para 1-12.
Yeah, I'm inclined. I'm inclined to see, even without Brown, he does that. I mean, it has a huge effect on the Eels and the points they score, but they're just a better football side than the Doggies, and I cannot for the fucking life of me find anything about who's replacing him. So I guess we'll find out. I don't think it even matters. Unless they're bringing back like Paul Carriage and sticking him in there or something. Like, I don't know. Right, that's it. That's the last game. Okay, so that brings us to the end of episode 520, Glennie.
We are done.
Me and you. Done.
Just like it used to be.
Just like it used to be, except it's only taken about an hour and 3/4 instead of 3 hours and a half.
Exactly. And instead of getting in my car and driving over an hour, I can shut this shit down and
fall into bed.
Walk a few steps and crash, which is exactly what I'm going to do because I am fucked.
Oh, so thanks for listening, everybody. Of course, something I forgot to mention at the top of the show as well. I want to give a special shout out to a listener, 2 listeners, in fact, and can't name anyone involved here, but they'll know who I'm talking about. The Year 10 student who saw his teacher wearing a TWiL Nation polo shirt to work the other day, and he commented and said, "Oh, you listen to This Week in League? I love it. Me and my dad listen to it." So shout out to you and your dad, sir. And if either of you want some great stories about your teacher or his twin brother, email me at business@thisweekinleague.com because there are fucking plenty of them. That's it. Thisweekinleague.com. Get all the links to social communities, Facebook and so on. Patreon. Hit us up there. Got some new patrons to welcome this week as well. Just quickly, let me get Brenton, Ryan, and who else? Mark. Welcome, guys. Thanks for jumping on board. And yeah, there's some great new stuff coming up in Patreon too. I did a bit of a experimental food video yesterday, so I've got to edit that and chuck it together. But yeah, that'll be going up on the Patreon for the boys and girls, and yeah, more to come. And we're just about to do we're probably about a couple of weeks away from our second merch drop for patrons for the year, so that's coming up as well, so look forward to that. I figured out what the items are, so we'll talk about that after the show, Glennie. And that's it. If you got nothing else to add, man, put a fork
Shut
in
it down.
Thanks for listening, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Special shout out to Dead Dad.
Yeah, get well soon.
Rest in peace.
It's funny because in this social media text messaging world, you're not actually speaking to him that much, and he's he sounds perfectly healthy over texts. So.
He says he's lost his voice, which would have made for the greatest episode ever if he was here.
Yeah, so
didn't have a voice.
Yeah, so it could have been the greatest episode ever, but you just have to settle for the second greatest episode ever. And anyway, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, see ya.